Hello everyone. In this video lesson, I'm not going to solve problems. We're just going to analyze the application of Fourier series and how it was used to finally settle down as who the winner was in the war of currents. Now imagine you are in class 6 or class 7 and your science teacher asks you who invented electricity. Some of you could tell the answer is Thomas Edison, and some of you could tell the answer is Nikola Tesla. Some of you may not know both the scientists. But what I would like to bring before you is the rivalry between two scientists, which was known as the War of Currents. Before going to the rivalry, we would have to understand one thing. Electricity is not an invention, and therefore, nobody can be credited with the invention of electricity. We can only understand that it is a phenomenon. So, only understanding the phenomenon behind electricity can be understood, can be looked at as a scientific contribution. Now, this understanding of the phenomenon behind electricity has come across a long journey across centuries. It can be said that it began with the observations made by Thales, where he understood static electricity, and the 1700s, where Benjamin Franklin proved that lightning was electrical. And then it led to the invention of the battery by Alexander Volta and the discovery of electromagnetic induction by Michael Faraday, followed by the formulation of the electromagnetic theory by James Maxwell. And then obviously we have Nikola Tesla, who developed many power systems which used electricity. Thomas Edison is not far behind. He can also be credited with many contributions towards scientific inventions involving electricity, like distribution of electric power to power plants, generators, and networks of wires, the invention of the incandescent electric bulb and the cost-effective filament, and other inventions like the phonograph, the motion picture camera, and stock ticker. But to understand which scientist was the better one amongst these two, it is necessary to understand the two forms of electricity between alternating current and direct current. Alternating current takes a waveform which is more like the trigonometric function called sin x or cos x, or in general the sinusoidal waveform. The AC current can be understood to have this pattern. Whereas the DC current, on the other hand, the direct current, is more like this, just slightly different. The people who wanted to distribute electricity found that alternating currents were efficient in the form of transformation of voltage and transmission of electricity from the main grid to the retail units. And they also observed that DC currents had the direct current had its limitation in the form of the transformation of the voltage and the inefficient transmission of power across cities and fields. So later, this was all much later, when they found out that alternating current was far superior in comparison with direct current. Now, one of the two scientists that we spoke of, namely Thomas Edison, promoted direct current. He wanted to market this to industries as a source of power and quoted a higher price because there was a lot of loss in the transmission of power from the grid to the factories and industries. Whereas Nikola Tesla was on the side of the alternating current. He was more hell bent on distributing electricity to common people, and he found out a very innovative method to reduce the costs incurred due to losses by improving the efficiency of the systems which distributed the current. Nikola Tesla. However, Edison wanted to undermine the growth of Nikola Tesla's alternating current, and it is said that he involved in a campaign against Nikola Tesla by giving the press a lot of misinformation on the safety of the alternating current, and Edison is said to have demonstrated publicly the dangers involved when alternating current is used. However, across a few years, it was found out that alternating current had a lot of advantages, and the general public started accepting alternating current as a safe method to transfer electricity, and this resulted in reach of the technology across various fields. As a result, the fear-mongering tactics adopted by Thomas Edison and the limited scope of the direct current gradually fell out of place. Therefore, the innovations proposed by Tesla and his group of scientists gained more advantage over Thomas Edison's direct current. The key factors in the victory of alternating current over direct current can be cited as these three. One, it was more efficient and scalable. Long distance transmission resulted in fewer losses. It was cost effective, thus making the electric current viable to household, cities, and industries as well. And as a result, it gained superiority over the direct current and the many applications which supported direct current. Now, the main objective behind this video lesson is to just give you a hint about the mathematics behind the efficiency of the alternating current. Like I told you, the alternating current takes a waveform, much like the sine curve or the shifted cosine curve. And this is what is exactly done in the Fourier series expression of a function. Certain functions which are special can be expressed as a Fourier series, which is nothing but the sinusoidal waveform expression of a given function. So what exactly happens in the Fourier series analysis of waveforms is that the AC waveform is identified, it's applied as an input to the Fourier series, resulting in the analysis of the components and resulting in the efficient design of the AC circuits. As a result, Fourier series led to a set of advantages that AC had over DC. This was possible because of understanding the sinusoidal nature of alternating currents, therefore enhancing the usage of alternating currents in the operation of transformers, and this led to the historical preference of AC over DC. Now, if you are a movie buff, you might have come across this 2006 movie called The Prestige, directed by Christopher Nolan. Nolan portrays the story of two magicians, Alfred Borden and Robert Angier, and there is an episode in which the rivalry between Edison and Tesla is also portrayed. Borden is shown to have a magician who has limited resources, who is technically gifted and secretive in nature. On the other hand, Robert Anger is shown to be wealthy, having a lot of connections. He shows more interest towards appealing to the audience with his showmanship and is all more open to the public with his display. The rivalry between Borden and Anger is portrayed in this movie using a fictional machine built by Nikola Tesla himself. Using this machine, Tesla duplicates matter using electricity. This is supposed to have been inspired by Nikola Tesla's work with electromagnetism and wireless transmission. And this shows, in a symbolic way, the groundbreaking inventions which were possible by Tesla, which are looked at with a shade of mystery and danger. Throughout the movie, Nolan portrays Nikola Tesla as a scientist come artist who is more focused on the craft of his inventions. The symbolism used in the movies is very appealing to the audience, where one of the two magicians is shown to have done the impossible trick, much like Tesla, and the other magician, namely Robert Angier, tries to sabotage the work of the magician Borden, thus undermining his growth, much like how Edison is supposed to have done to Tesla. One magician, Borden, is portrayed as a visionary who's full of mystery and is an artist scientist, much like Tesla. And the other magician, Angier, is more after power and control, who treats science with a business mind, mostly like Thomas Edison. The connection of the magicians to the scientists happened in this way. Alfred Bode is a hidden genius, much like Tesla, and Robert Anger is a showman driven with business ideas, much like Thomas Edison. The bottom line of this entire video lesson is to show that the phenomenon of electricity has been understood by many scientists across centuries. The two key contributors to the modern day inventions of electricity are Tesla and Edison, but history remembers Edison with more love than Tesla. But it is our duty to understand what has actually happened in history and to understand how one scientist may have possibly sabotaged the growth of the other scientist and may have actually discredited the contributions made by the scientist because of the rivalry between them. I hope you enjoyed the video lesson. I'll follow this with more video lessons shortly. Thank you.